These contrasting approaches to health clearly demonstrates why Westerners have ignored the principle of ki. It's not scientific. It isn't scientific to qualify my study when I actually demonstrate pushing a knife into my throat and head and do not have my skin punctured. But if you are predisposed to explain the five senses as an alternative based on something seemingly impossible as energy, that wouldn't hold much credence. Another reason Westerners have had little or no exposure to ki is that the Orientals, particularly the Japanese, have worked diligently to keep it secret. Today, mostly the exponents and practitioners of ki are martial artists, primarily because only the martial arts retains any resemblance of the Budo spirit. Secrets of the martial arts are jealously guarded and passed from teacher to teacher slowly and after many years of disciplined study. And so these secrets stay within the line of succession, such as a valuable piece of property will remain within a family generation after generation. Students of the martial arts receive no instruction in the use of ki until they have practiced under a master for at least 3 years or as many as 7 years, depending on the particular school he is working into. Until this century, no Westerner was ever allowed into a dojo or a martial arts school, so there was no possibility for us to learn the secrets of the martial arts. My teachers were Soka Albert Church and Rod Sakanowski, his student. Soka means headmasters and requires a 10th degree black belt. Soka Church lived in Japan and Korea for many years and trained there with masters of the samurai class, living in the dojo and proving himself worthy of this great honor. These gentlemen passed the secret to me after many years of study and vigorous training. So why am I sharing this secret on a wholesale basis with a few of you who have never trained as warriors in the classical samurai sense? Because the study of ki, or chi, resulting in the ability to control your mind, can make you successful, whether you are a samurai warrior, a businessman, a teacher, or an artist. In the rest of this book and the video, we will discuss the 10 stages of development each of us goes through as we uncover and control our ki. These 10 stages are represented by an allegory called the 10 Bulls. Each stage is accompanied by a drawing, the content of which is thousands of years old. In the allegory, the bull represents the mind as the one searching for the ki. Each drawing and the poem that goes with it contains directions for the teacher and the searcher, giving a picture of what the mind is doing as you search for your chi and attempt to control it, understand it, and to use it, and then share it with humanity. In each drawing, you will find answers to questions that arise in your search to develop your ki. Each answer will bring another question, which we'll find answered in the next drawing. The text and the poems that accompany each drawing serve as a guidepost to point you in the right direction. You may find that your ki is so powerful that you may skip many of the beginning stages and arrive at number 7. If you find that you have enough ki to achieve your goals, feel free to stop any time during your training and get on with your life. One who has arrived at the destination no longer needs to ask for directions. If, on the other hand, you feel you are lost in searching for your ki, go back to the drawings. You hold the reins to the bull, and only you decide whether to get on for sure or to fail. And don't become discouraged by your search. Do the exercises for patience, and you will find the search is moving at exactly the right pace for you. It is my purpose to train you to control your mind, or to dominate your will. If you like that terminology of will control more than mind control, use that. I know from my own training, and from the training that I have done and led for thousands of other Americans, that the techniques and exercises that I am teaching you, if you will follow them, will result in your ability to control your mind. However, you must follow the directions exactly. Do the exercises precisely as you are instructed, even if you don't understand why you are doing them. One day at a time, one step at a time, and you will succeed. Remember, it takes the first chop to chop down a tree. If you fail, the tree will continue to stand. Confucius discussed this persistence. Here is what he said. It matters not what you learn, but once you learn a thing, you must never give up until you have mastered it. It matters not what you inquire into, but when you inquire into a thing, you must never give up until you have thoroughly understood it. It matters not what you think about, but when you think about a thing, you must never give it up until you have what you want. If one man succeeds by one effort, you must use 100. If others succeed by 10, you must use 1,000. Whatever your path, whether samurai, warrior, or chief or executive, your chi and your will give you the power to achieve success. The importance of the breath. The Zen teacher tells a story. There once was a great master who was continually bothered by a rich man wanting enlightenment. After a few weeks, the man would come to the monastery and beg the master to teach him. Each time the monk would put him off, explaining he was simply not ready for enlightenment. The rich man persisted because he felt his persistence would prove his worthiness. One day he came upon the master standing in a pool up to his waist. In a great show of disregard for his fine clothes, he jumped into the pool and he began whining. Suddenly the monk grabbed the man's hair and shoved his head under the water and held it there. At first the man acquiesced to the treatment, but soon he was thrashing wildly and struggling for his very life. The monk continued to force his head under the water. The man became truly fanatic. The water boiled in his attempts to escape. Finally, the monk released him, and he came to the surface, gasping for air. When he caught his breath, he struggled out of the water and asked his tormentor, "Why did you try to drown me?" To which the master replied, "When you want enlightenment as badly as you want your next breath, I will teach you." Besides teaching us something about commitment, this story also illustrates the power of our breathing. It is unquestionably the most important thing in our life. In order to get a breath, you will lose control of every other bodily function, including involuntary ones. Breath is the one thing you cannot consciously deprive yourself of. You can go weeks without food, days without water, but you cannot hold your breath more than a few minutes without dying. Therefore, starting to breathe immediately is of vital importance to you every time you're deprived of breath. In this chapter, we will learn the importance of the breath. We will also learn how to control the flow of your thoughts and how it can be used to control our wills. In the West, few people receive this kind of training, so most Americans have little or no concept of the importance of their breath. Let us begin with the drawing and the words that accompany it. The prose lines give us a vital clue to the importance of the breath, as well as the capacity to control it and still the mind. It says, "The boy finds his way by the sounds he hears. He will find that it is no other than himself. The sound that the boy finds is the sound of his own mind, or more specifically, his own thoughts. As he investigates the sound, he uncovers his own thoughts. When you have finished this chapter and done the simple exercises, you will have sufficient evidence to understand the power of your breath in controlling your thoughts, and more importantly, the power of your chi in controlling your will." I've already explained that our breath is more important to us than anything else. The human body is capable of many things, but it is incapable of quietly giving up its air supply. No matter how much you love someone, you can love them to the point of giving up your own life, killing yourself. You cannot allow yourself to hold your breath over your mouth until you die. This concept is the key to follow the exercises that I have mentioned. I want you to experience it firsthand. The first exercise is simple. Put this book down and hold your breath for the next 5 minutes. That sounds hard, doesn't it? Impossible is closer to your response. Okay, I'm willing to let you hold your breath for a shorter period of time. But before you start, let all the air out of your lungs. Hold your breath. And be conscious of what is happening in your body. You will notice great pain immediately. But you will also notice that your mind is starting to worry. It is probably saying something like, "Okay, let's breathe." As you continue to hold your breath, your mind will completely shut off all voluntary activity. And in fact, you will notice nothing else in the world but the fact that you are not getting any air. After only a minute, or even less, your mind will literally shut itself down. It will pay sole attention and complete attention to a single thought. Where is the air? This shutdown is absolute. It doesn't matter if you have money problems, a broken heart, ulcers, illness. You could be bleeding. You could have severed your fingers, broken your arm. You could have troubles with the IRS. You could have problems with your home. You could have family problems. But your mind will only have one thought. Where is the air? Now breathe. And as you take your first breath, I want you to notice how you feel. You will likely feel calm now that you're breathing again. This feeling will last for just a little bit. And whatever problems and worries were occupying your thoughts before you started holding your breath will now return to your mind. There are several ways to explain this phenomenon, but the simplest for the Western mind to understand is your mind is an electromagnetic organism, and when you hold your breath, like you just did, it is cleared of all activity by its total absorption with the one thought. After you regain your breath, it will retain its old thoughts and refill itself with worry, doubts, and fears and self-debasement. In other words, it takes some time to reprogram your mind with all the crap that was filling it before. The important thing is not that it fills back up, but rather that it was completely dominated by one thought previously, possibly for the first time in your life. This exercise should also teach you what it is like to have a clear mind, which is what happened when you inhaled and held your breath. The mind will pay attention to your breath, but when you interrupt the normal breathing patterns, it will not pay attention to anything else. It is very simple. When you shut down your breathing, you shut down your mind. You will find that this is not true in any other altercations or situations in your environment. You will have habitual noises. Living near a railroad track, you could live near a railroad track and you won't notice them after a while. You could be near smells, and after a while you don't notice the odor of your own house. And you cannot notice the beauty in the pictures and the beauty all around your own home. But you will never get used to depriving yourself of no breath. Your mind will shut everything else out and let you think about nothing else but your breath. And now imagine how powerful you could be if you could think about nothing else but your business. When you practice your breathing techniques, you will control the mind into paying more attention, which means clearing out the garbage and reprogramming it to the means and methods that we want. The purpose of this book is to instruct you in reprogramming your mind with one single thought, one single goal, and one idea, and then to let that dominate your will by using your chi to control your mind, so that just as it had blocked out the rest of the world when we were holding our breath, it will now block out the rest of the world as you pursue your one single goal, when your one desire, your one ambition. Think of the power you will have over your destiny when you use the entire power of your mind to pursue and achieve one goal. The purpose of breathing exercises is twofold. First, to allow you to still your mind, to calm your thoughts, and to slow your thoughts down, and to begin to dominate your mind. The second is to build and store your chi inside your body so that it may be used later to dominate and control your will. Will is what the mind does, and it is what makes you take action. You will breathe. You will walk. You will sit around all day and do nothing. You will manifest your goals when you make your will controlled by your mind. Up until now, we have mostly spoken about the mind and breath control. From now on, at this point, the appropriate thing to do is to bring the concept of chi, and chi, the power in your body which allows you to dominate your mind and to control your will. Chi is a separate force outside the mind. Chi is always centered. The center of your body is 2 inches below your navel, and that is where your chi is stored. It is called your ki, or ki point. The mind and the will are not different attributes of the same thing. In the West, we often refer to the mind as our brain, which has complete control over all other aspects of our body and our thoughts. However, it is much more to it than that. In Zen, there is a saying, where there is a clock, there must have been a clockmaker. Where there is a boat, there must have been a boat maker. Where there was a will, there must be a will maker. There is a power that controls your mind. There is nothing mythical about this conception. In the West, we foster a belief in the kind of mind behind the mind, with the idea of the unconscious, a mysterious hidden mind. In the Orient, this is called ki. When you have strong ki, you have a strong will. When your ki is weak, you have a weak will. We are training you to control your ki, to store it and to build it, so that it becomes powerful. You don't have to believe that this will happen in order for it to happen. You only have to do the exercises. Soon you will have stored enough ki to control your will every day, instead of being so weak that your mind controls your will.